Still I'm a creeping through the night, searching for a movie, something that feels right. But the prices keep on rising, I can't afford the thrill. These limited editions, they're just out to kill. 4Ks and Blu-rays, they're a visual treat, but my wallet is crying. How will I afford to eat this week when I'm paying $65 for one movie? Cardboard slip covers are so neat, so cool, but the price tag is high. It knocks me off my feet. Whoa. Severing films, they got the goods, but sometimes the price just make you scream. Scheme Factory, they'll take your money, but they don't care if your case is greasy. Slip covers and 4K, they promise something grand. Back gateways on Black Friday got me feeling bad. And the wait is never ending, cause it's Slippy's fault. Trick or treat release, it's taking too goddamn long. All I want is a movie night. Is that too much to ask? Overpriced bad movies I can't resist. Even though my budget is tight like this, stupid enamel pins, gotta collect them all. And like 4 flies on gray velvet, I'm about to fall.
Howdy, everybody, and welcome. We're back. We're just watching the live reaction.
Oh God, I almost forgot that was in that song. Oh, I feel better.
How's everybody doing tonight, boys? It's gonna be a fun show tonight. Gonna be fun. We're gonna have lots of fun. You can't never have too much fun, right? Daryl Singletary said that.
Yep. Oh.
So, without further ado, I'm not going to keep people waiting. We're already up to 170 plus viewers live. Okay, and we know why everybody's here. But we're going to be nice tonight, Uncle Bill. There is one name that Mr. Felsher does not want to be called tonight, and nobody in the chat's going to call him that. We're not going to call him that. Right? We're going to be nice.
That's right. I absolutely refuse to even mention the name. I don't want anybody else to mention it either. Because, that's not what we do.
But we know him as Slipcase. He's
right.
Slippy. Slippy to Dippity. The Slipster style. All that's fine.
Yep. Keep things professional here. It's what we do at DEADPIT. It's what we're known for.
And he's one of the very few that has his own theme song, boss.
Slipcase, Michael Felsher, Slipcase, Michael Felsher, Slipcase, Michael Felsher, Slip. Get slippy with it, slip it, motherfucker, Slipcase, Michael Felsher. Oh, goddamn, get slippy with that motherfucker. Make some DVD extras, goddamn, hurry. I want to watch some DVDs. Slip it, case, Felsher, baby. Whoa, sucky,
now.
Slipcase, Michael Felsher, Slipcase, Michael Felsher, Slipcase.
How you doing, Slipper? Slipper. They call him Slipper. Slipper.
Hi.
You having a good night tonight, Mr. Felsher?
Well, I was.
Yeah.
I was enjoying that song, actually. I was like, when did this come out? When did this happen?
The Blu-ray Dilemma song.
Is that what it's called? Is that the official name of the song?
Yeah, it's Matt and the Phantasms did that for us.
It's actually a very well-produced song. I must give them credit.
Well, if you like that one,
I didn't.
Stay tuned. Because Matt and the Phantasms did another song that we're going to play at some point tonight as a super secret surprise. We've got 225 people in here checking us out all the way live here on DEADPIT on YouTube, and we're on Facebook and Twitch and Twitter, and where else are we at? I don't even know. Facebook. I said Facebook.
Are we on? Yeah, we're on Twitch. You said that.
MySpace.
AIM. We're on AIM and AOL.
AIM. AOL.
Yeah. Blog TV.
I forgot about Blog TV. Yeah.
Stickam. But welcome, Slippy. It's been a while.
No, it hasn't.
Yes, it has.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
How long? What was the last time? It was what? Well, I'm counting when you showed up on the announcement.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Well, not counting that, but talking about being on DEADPIT branded product. It's been
it's been a little while, I suppose. Yeah.
It's been like about 7 months or so. So welcome back. This is going to be a real fun show. There's lots of physical media stuff to talk about.
Yeah, it's been a lot of announcements the last couple of weeks there, hasn't it?
That's what I was saying. Like the Trick or Treats pre-order better get up here soon because ain't nobody going to have any fucking money left. You know, too much stuff to.
No selling all this.
The Hitcher, the pre-order for the Hitcher came out today, early this morning, and what else? Kino's announced all kinds of shit. You working on any of the Kino stuff that was announced in the last?
A lot of
days?
them. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I've
and
lost
then
track.
There's also the opera from Severin coming up.
Yeah, that's coming. That's debuting tomorrow night. Big sale for Severin Films. I think Severin's had a pretty good 2024 so far. When it comes to these boutique labels, they may be at the top this year so far as the amount of releases and stuff that people are really interested in.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think, Felsher, about the what was the Argento one that got deep cuts? Was that what it was called?
Oh, the Italian TV stuff that we did. That was cool. I hadn't thought about those. I don't know how many of those I've seen.
I don't think I've seen any of that.
The TV series, what was it called? It was released before somebody released the DVD of that, I think.
I'm trying to remember.
Door into Darkness was
Door into Darkness, yeah. But I'm glad that they're bringing them out, and it's going to have one of the Dario Argento documentaries on it, I think. So that's cool. No, I'm very happy about that. Anytime you get more of his stuff out there, I'm always cool about that.
Yeah, for sure. But we got a ton of people already in the chats, 278 already checking us out all the way live. We're going to go ahead and get into the chat, but we'll go back and forth. So before we get started in the chat, though, any new trick or treat news that you want to throw out there? Because I'm sure a lot of people will be asking anything like release date.
The release date is we're still aiming for Halloween. So that is still on track. I'm delivering stuff left and right and getting it up. There's just a lot of elements to this because it's a box set with 3 discs in it and a book and a poster. And there's just a lot of things you got to finish up. But all that stuff's done. Now it's just a matter of getting it, sent off to the printers and proofread. There's just a lot of steps. But, we're working on it. And in fact, I talked with Don May today about it. And we're all aiming for Halloween. That's our date. But as far, the official announcement is getting closer, and officially a pre-order will be available soon. But I can't say exactly what day that will be. But I'm just trying to get everything out the door. I don't want to announce what I don't want to do is announce a pre-order date and a release date, and then before we delivered everything off. I don't want to do that because God forbid something comes up and it's like, oh shit. But I don't foresee that happening. But so it's really, I know everyone's anxious for it, and I understand that. And I believe me, I want to announce it. Nothing would please me more to come on here and give you a link to go pre-order the sucker right now. But I can't just yet, but we're very, very close. And I would certainly by the next time I come on here and talk to you guys, you'll be able to order the thing. So, and we have circled around a price point. I can tell you what looks like the price is going to be. We've decided on $66.66.
I was hoping you would do that.
Well, that's pretty good.
And I think that's a good price point considering what you're getting. And again, that's not 100%. We may change it a little bit, but I don't think so.
I'll tell you what I would do, recommendation here, because all these people are crazy that collect this shit, us included. Give like an option to buy all three at a slightly discounted.
That's you know what? There's a possibility we might do that. I don't know. I'll bring that up with Don because it'll be available through the Synapse website. You'll be able to order directly through them, and then I'm sure there'll be a couple other retailers that's going to do it as well. Diabolic, I'm sure, would be someone that would be most likely to carry some of these. But as far as ordering all three and getting a little bit, you know what? I'll bring that up. That's a good thing to ask about. But so that's where we are, kind of.
$5 super chat. Ozzy and Gene Simmons. What's going on there? Because you kind of dodged.
Yeah,
that a little bit.
I'm going to go ahead and just talk about that. Yeah, we waited a long time for Ozzy, and we really hoped it would happen. Unfortunately, it didn't. There was issues that came up that were kind of insurmountable in order to really get his participation. It was nothing personal against us or anything like that. It just didn't work out. And I don't really want to go into it. It was just one of those things that happens. And we gave it every chance we could. Sean Clark, who's a good friend of mine, reps the Osbournes for conventions now. And he was talking directly with them, and it just didn't work out. We gave it every chance we could, but there's no hard feelings because it just didn't,
right.
It's just one of those things. As far as Gene Simmons is concerned, he does make a special appearance in the documentary. He's not in there very much, but he is in there. So we were able to get probably about a minute or so of him talking about Trick or Treat, and it will be present in the documentary. So
you didn't have to buy one of those meet and greet packages from Kiss and Farewell.
No, it was nothing.
Were you on the Kiss cruise? Did you have to go on the Kiss cruise to get him?
No. But the good news is that, I mean, look, I was disappointed about Ozzy as well, but we got a lot of people talking. A lot of people had great stories about him, and we have a lot of really very vivid memories of people talking about what it was like to work with him. He was very well liked during his time there in Wilmington, and people had very, very great memories of him. And so the stories that you get to hear about him are really entertaining. And and one of the great things was, at the very last minute, and I had not been able to get a hold of her. I didn't know where she was, but I was able to add a last minute interview with Elise Richards, who plays the girl who's in the car with Skeezix.
That's a great scene.
Yeah, and she was all about doing it, and she was very happy to participate, and she gave us some really great memories about shooting that scene. So I was very happy to be able to add her to the documentary.
Very cool. Planet CHH is upset that you don't have any enamel pins. Well, you didn't say there wasn't.
I never said there wasn't. And I mean, there may be some we'll offer at some point. Those are things you can kind of make a decision on later, because those aren't going to be in the set. Obviously, there's no way to shove.
Right. You can just add them on. Maybe you can have a bundle. Talk to Dave Gregory about one of his bundles.
There's any, that's a possibility, but Synapse does a lot of enamel pins for a lot of their releases, and I'm sure we'll consider doing a couple that can coincide with, if you buy through Synapse, you can get an enamel pin maybe or something like that. But we don't have to worry about that right away. Those are that's a relatively easy thing to push a button on if we decide to do it.
Now, this is a good question here from Born to Be Rad. Will the pre-order be a Synapse site exclusive, or is it going to be on other sites?
It will be on other sites. As to how many others, I don't know. We're not going to be spreading this around too much. But it will be Synapse, and like I said, probably like Diabolic or Diabolique, however it's pronounced. I think it's Diabolic, isn't it?
Buddy, you're asking somebody from Eastern Kentucky.
Yeah.
I don't know. Diabolic, my God.
Diabolic or whatever. So I would, there'll be a couple places to get it that you'll be able to pre-order it from.
Cool. Now, the Ghoul Next Door wants to know, will Trick or Treat be available in stores as well, or is it a website only release limited edition?
As far as stores, I don't know about any brick or mortar stores if it's going to be available. It's a limited edition, so we're only doing 6,666 of them. So there'll be those.
So it is limited.
It is limited, yes. We're not, and then at some point, I'm sure there'll be a slimmed down edition. So, but that we don't have that scheduled yet, or it's not on the boards just yet. We want to.
I would be willing to say maybe Orbit, but I mean that's like a that's a special order store. So maybe a store like that, but as far as like nationwide stores or something, who knows?
I don't. I don't think we have enough pieces to fulfill that anyway. If someone were to pick it up, it's going to be sort of how their, Synapse has done all their limited editions in the past, either through them or maybe one or maybe two other retailers. I don't know, but that's not my department so much. They're handling the distribution side of things, and we're just going to do it the way they've been doing it, which has been very successful for them, and I imagine will be successful for this.
Now, did you work on the American Pie 4K?
No.
Killer.
I was
sorry, Puss Meow. But no, I did not work on the American Pie 4K.
Well, thank you for the super chat. Anyway, Puss Meow.
Yeah. But it's and then we've got we also almost had a little bit of a hiccup there with the artwork, because we announced the previous 3 arts and we had to replace one of them. And so that didn't hold us up in terms of production.
Now, what was the deal with that? Do you want to get into that at all? Or?
I really can't get into that. It's really not that interesting, but there just ended up being a problem with the artwork for the third option. And we spoke with the artist about it, and he was cool. He was a nice guy and everything was fine, but we couldn't use it. And there was just,
I got to say the new one that you guys announced, what was it, last week or whatever, looks really like, before I was dead set on Art A, I think, but now I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted something when this came up. It was like, well, on the third one, because the other 2 were previously done pieces of art for T-shirts that, Devin Whitehead had done one, and then Justin Osborne had done the other. But I love those pieces of art, and I thought they fit perfectly for these covers for these things. So for me, it's just like, why commission new pieces when these are so fucking good? And I've worked with both those guys, and I have an existing relationship with both of them. So it was just like, for me, those were no-brainers. And I wanted to say the third one to be something specially commissioned for this release. And I went through a couple different people, and when things weren't working out, we got the one piece, then, that had to be pulled. And then it was just like, well, I really want to do something aesthetically different than the other 2. Maybe not even like a black background. Do something that kind of stands apart from those a little bit. And I happened upon an artist named Sean Longmore. He does a lot of covers for 88 Films. And he had done a cover for the a release of the Witchfinder General that I thought was really striking. And I love the photorealistic quality of it. The colors were really rich. And I said, ooh. So I contacted him and I said, hey, man, clock's ticking. Would you have any interest in doing Trick or Treat? He was like, yeah. So he made some room, and then he sent me that. When he sent me the finished piece, it was just like, yeah, that'll do. That does very nice. And wait till you see all 3 of the covers have a little illustration on the back as well, a little tiny thing. And he added something for the back that I think people are really going to love. There's no text on the back. It'll be a J card that you can take off, and it'll just be artwork on the back. So his piece on the back is really cool as well. And I'm very, very happy with Sean. I mean, I'm thrilled with all 3, but I thought Sean just knocked it out of the park with the third artwork, and I've gotten a lot of very positive feedback on it. But fortunately, that did not hold up anything for us. It wasn't not going to cause a delay or anything. We had a little window in there. If there was going to be a problem, I'm glad it happened when it did. So it was just.
Was there any of the old art that was printed or anything, or no? You hadn't got to that point yet?
No, hadn't gotten to that point.
Okay.
No. So that was the good thing about that.
I can't remember if you talked about this before or not, but Lawn Furniture wants to know, is Glenn Morgan on the disc?
Glenn Morgan is on the disc. Glenn Morgan gave us an interview that he's in the documentary. He told some very, very cool stories. And he gave me some photos for the behind the scenes gallery too. So, Glenn Morgan was all about participating.
Very cool. Joe in here. And I think a lot of people, like, when it comes to limited editions and everything, he's just one of many. I mean, you're going to have a lot of people that want, especially for a release like this that has never seen an official like big.
There's never been any kind of special edition of this at all. I mean, the last one was that platinum DVD, so
which is great. I mean, that was amazing,
dude. I still think that you should do like a convention exclusive of that.
Listen,
let me tell you something.
He's right about this. He is right about this.
Let me tell you this, man. If it's at a convention like a Texas Frightmare or a Horror Hound, and it's an exclusive at the Synapse table,
DVD cover of all
does not matter. Does not matter.
Remember. It doesn't matter.
If it was limited to, even if you did a 200 copies of it, it would sell out.
Here's the thing. I'll agree to. If at one point, I mean, sure, at some point down the line, we're going to do just sort of a standard edition UHD or a Blu-ray or whatever. If enough people, like if you were to get 1,000 people to commit to having that, or 500 people or whatever, I'll do a slip sleeve with that shitty cover on it.
Okay.
We'll start a petition. I guarantee we'll get 1,000 people.
But it's got to be people I can actually fucking find that you didn't just make up. Like,
well, I don't know about all that.
Fuck, and like just John Q, son of a bitch. I don't know. It needs to be. If you can get at least, it's got to be at least 500. At least 500 people.
We can definitely get 5. I really do think we can get 500. Yeah,
you can get 500 people willing to buy an edition of a Trick or Treat with that shitty art on it. Fine.
We have 366 people in here, sleepy people. I think everybody in the chat would buy one. So if you guys in the chat,
collect their names and their credit card info.
366 copies.
I need my Venmo and my Cash App information.
Yeah. Another super chat here before I forget. Favorite Killer Kid movies, man.
I just did a whole podcast on this. We just did yeah. So
Who asked you first?
Honestly, it came up with us first, but then you were like the next day. So it was just like, that was what made it so weird. It's like, what the fuck?
It's because we bugged.
It was fate.
But in terms of Killer Kids, what would be my favorite one? I don't know. Probably, I'm sure it was one of the ones we discussed.
Kathy's Curse.
No, it is not Kathy's Curse. Probably, I would. Yeah, probably, Children of the Corn or something like that. I don't know. I'm not a big Killer Kids guy.
Mikey.
Mikey's a good one. Mikey's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Bloody Birthday is good.
Devil Times 5, I think Vinegar Syndrome, somebody said that they're coming out with that one.
Oh, okay.
What about Beware Children at Play?
Have I seen that one? I'm sure I have, but I can't remember that one. Yeah.
How about a Sammy Kerr plushie?
I knew it.
You know what? Who knows? I don't think in time for this release we'll be able to do something like that, but who knows? Maybe we'll.
Here's the thing. Here's the good news about this, right? It's kind of like hyped up so much at this point that you could pretty much put out anything and people are going to buy. Like you can put any extra thing connected to this, and it's going to.
Well, I'm sure we're going to do some promotional items and some exclusives and stuff like that. I'm sure we will, but. The one I want to do is I want to do a replica of the old Lorimar VHS and just do like 666 of those and, just do that.
Yeah, there's a lot that you could do really. I mean,
oh yeah, I'm sure.
Now somebody was asking too, Uncle Bill, you go ahead. What have you got? Have you got anything?
About what? Just life in general?
About anything. I don't want to.
Just life in general.
I saw something in the chat that I wanted to mention that's like Red Shirt home video. So it's we notice on the spines it has the Red Shirt logo and everything. This is essentially totally a Red Shirt home video release, right? Yeah. The Synapse's
logo will be on the back along with mine. But on the spine, it'll be the Red Shirt. Has my own catalog numbers on it. It's going to be its own.
That's important. Thing. You got to have it numbered.
This is actually it'll be RSV002 because technically there has been one before. I did the After Effects documentary on my own, so that was technically the first release.
Is that completely sold out? I noticed that.
It's on Amazon. I know that Diabolic put some on Amazon. I think they still have some, and I think I still have a few on around here.
So if you want to complete the catalog so far, you better hurry your ass up.
You have to get that one, yeah.
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 Sons of bitches.
But,
what about number 3? Are you ready to make that announcement yet?
I'm not going to make that announcement until after Trick or Treat is done.
God damn it!
No, I'm not doing that, because then it's just like I'm asking for trouble. So I will say that the transfer on that has been done. That is finished, and I've already shot 6 interviews for it, and we were going to record a commentary for it probably not next week, but probably 2 weeks from now. And actually, we already have a 3rd film locked down too. And so there's
Is it King Frat?
It's not King Frat.
Fuck.
You know what we need right now, though?
What?
You know what would be amazing right now
What's that?
about this 3rd film?
Yeah.
I can't say it, but I think you know what I would say if I could say it.
What? I have no idea.
What the hell are you talking about?
I can't say it. Like, we need something to do with this 3rd film that we don't currently have that would give us information that is unknown to everyone, but I'm not allowed to say the word.
What in the ever-loving fuck are you talking about?
We need, you brought it up. We need a scoop.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Well,
I will say, it's not going to tell you very much. It's actually an action movie that has not been ever on Blu-ray. It was briefly on DVD many, many years ago. And it stars someone that is not a typical action star, but everybody in this audience certainly knows who she is. Definitely knows. Yes.
Well,
that's somebody's got to figure this out.
The chat lighted up, and now
interesting.
We got 380 people checking us out live. Appreciate everybody. Definitely thumbs up the stream and everything, and share it with your family, friends, and neighbors. You're working on a lot of stuff with Kino that we know about.
No, it is not. No. And I'm not going to start denying. I'm not going to spend the rest of it just denying what it is. So
somebody just put out of nowhere, is it Rochelle Diodado's body count? Yeah.
I wish somebody'd release that so they'd shut the fuck up.
I do too.
Body count. Any other, like, I think that probably I can't keep up with the chat tonight, by the way. I mean, if people want to do the super chat, we'll for sure mention you guys, but I can't keep up with the fucking chat. I just can't do it.
Marla Hooch.
Yep, that's who it is.
What's going on with Vestron Video? No releases so far. I think you'd said that you're working on like 3 of them.
Yeah, there's a few more that are still coming. It's just been a matter of getting them out the door. There's just been a lot going on. Just a lot. I've got a lot on my plate, and Lionsgate's got a lot on his plate, so it's just a matter of when we can get to them. Mm-hmm. But there's a couple that are finally getting ready to wrap up. So, but there's 4. There's 4 that I'm actively working on that'll be coming out through there.
Jeez, 4 of the Vestron?
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
What's the you mentioned Kickboxer before. They released a steelbook of Kickboxer not long after we talked about that, but it's a Blu-ray.
That's not it. No.
Okay, so maybe
will it be Clown House?
No.
It will not be.
No. I bet not.
I don't even like to joke about Clown House, man. Like, after we did a show on that not too awful long ago, and I looked into that shit.
It's pretty awful. Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah.
And especially like there's shots actually in the fucking movie that are really, really disturbing, even if you didn't know what all went on behind the scenes.
Yeah, there are. Yeah, that's true. Because if you watch it, it's hard to watch the movie now without knowing all that and keeping that in mind. But yeah, it's not a film that too many people are. I don't think the studio that owns it's like really. They're like, just put it in a drawer and forget about it.
Nobody will ever release that, and rightfully so.
Barbed wire.
No. Yeah, we're not going to do this.
Real quick, though, we're at 393 people. If we get to 400, Felsher will tell you what one of the Vestron titles is. Let's go, folks. Get to 400.
No, I didn't say that.
Yeah, you said it.
No, I did. Okay, fuck you and fuck you.
Okay,
too.
well, here's what we'll do. If we get to 400, that's when we'll give Felsher his big surprise.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh, no.
Yes. It'll be huge. You're going to see the live reaction here, all the way live.
You guys and the word surprise do not make me feel very good at all.
I think you'll be really surprised.
I think you will. You'll enjoy it. All right, so
come on.
Another one somebody's mentioned on here is Vestron related. And is Ghoulies Go to College possibly one of those that you're working on?
It's possible.
Mm.
And what about Pinocchio's Revenge?
I wish that one was one of the ones I was working on. I'd love to do it.
We just hit over 400 people in here, Bulls.
God damn it.
So, okay. We had mentioned this when we were on the podcast with Chris and the guys, that your old gimmick, which we're not going to talk about or anything, but whenever a wrestler,
old gimmick,
well, your new old gimmick, we can't talk about anymore.
The retired gimmick.
That you needed a new song for this gimmick, and Matt and the Phantasms threw it up as quick, and we give Phantasm Matt is the lead singer, and dude, I was just flabbergasted, and I was trying my best to get you back on the show as quick as possible so you could hear this, because this is a hit. This is a surefire hit. What do you think, Uncle Bill?
This is Casey Kasem style top 40 right here. I mean, we're ready to go.
So I'm gonna blast it, Bulls. You ready for it? It's not what you think. Trust me. It's one of your favorite genres of music, though. You ready? Are you ready?
I suppose.
Behind the scenes where the movie lovers go, there's a man called Slippy everybody knows. With that no-selling look on his face and a silver tongue. What better spill the things today? Well, let me tell the story of Slippy. 2 scoops like an Easter egg. He's hiding the truth. Oh, I wonder if we'll ever see that trick-or-treat bouquet. Oh, it's a nightmare down on Elm Street, messing with our mind. We know it's coming now, don't lie. Oh, Slippy, hurry, hurry, give me 2 scoops today. Swear I won't tell a soul. Don't worry, we're gonna have to ask on me. Oh, Slippy, Slippy, 2 scoops. Hurry up, goddamn, Slippy now.
I'm going to reveal all the industry secrets tonight. I can't announce because I'm not working on anything. I don't know anything about it. Give me 2 scoops today.
Yeah, so good little vocal solo there. What do you think, Sleepy? That's some good shit.
I'm gonna make it.
I hate you.
I mean,
that's a good song. It's catchy.
How often is it anybody that's a guest on any show gets their own song that's definitely a hit? Yeah.
2.
I mean,
2 different genres too. You got a rap song back in the day, and now this is a modern
I am covering
country.
The spread, aren't I?
Modern country song. Jason Aldean, he could fucking redo it and probably have a hit song.
I would like to give kudos to the technical quality of the song. It's a very well done song. I am going to kill both of you. You will not know when it will happen.
You people heard it. If we show up missing or dead,
that's fine. I'll take credit for it. That's great. Even if I didn't do it, I'll take credit for it. That's fine. I don't have a problem. But thank you so much for making sure that the new nickname doesn't take hold at all now.
No, we wanted to make sure that didn't happen.
Well, I wasn't going to mention it. I mean, I said that was your old gimmick.
It wasn't my gimmick, asshole! I didn't come up with shit.
It kind of was the last time we had you on. I think it was at least 2 scoops that we got.
You invented this shit. This is all you.
It's actually Uncle Bill invented it. It wasn't me.
It technically was me, but I mean, I think you liked it secretly.
You did.
No.
A little bit. Anyway.
Why do I come on here?
That's the gift that keeps on giving, though. That's your new. I guess that's your new theme song. We've retired the rap song.
You need to start every show you do with that song. We'll give it to you. You can have license and just.
No, I'm good. I'm fine. I'm good. Thank you. But I appreciate it. But I'm good. I'm good.
We're up to 420 people, boys. People are excited.
Now
everybody in this chat is going to purchase that limited edition slipcover for Trick or Treat, by the way. They've already told me. So we're up to 421 now.
So anything else, though, Slippy, about that release, talking about Trick or Treat, that you can mention or want to mention that we have not mentioned or people haven't asked?
I can't think of anything. I mean, I talked about all the features already, and so that's out there, and the cover arts, and no, I think the only thing really left to reveal is when the actual pre-order date's up and when it's going to be available. So,
which thank you for coming on, because we secretly know that link will be revealed right now.
No, it will not. No, it will not.
Sorry, I got ahead of myself.
Well, you got to think, though. I mean, the Hitcher pre-order is up. That's coming out September the 30th.
Yeah.
So if you're getting it out by Halloween, it's going to have to be within the next month or so. I would imagine a pre-order would.
That would make sense.
So everybody needs to save some of your money. There's all these sales going on, man. The Arrow's got a sale. Kino, Severin sales tomorrow. I love Severin, but whenever they have a sale, it's not really that much of a sale. You're going to be paying a fucking ton of money for this shit. So save a little bit of it for Slippy.
Yes.
Death Machine.
Yeah.
Have they announced that yet? I don't think they've announced that one yet, have they?
Oh, it's out.
When did it come out?
It came back out in
Buddy, how'd you miss
3 weeks ago?
I never got Death Machine. I didn't hear anything about it coming out.
Oh yeah, it's out. It's it's been out.
What about the Ilsa collection then?
That we're still working on. That's going to take a little bit more time, but we're hoping to have that out by the end of the year.
Don't forget about that thing I was telling you about too, please.
Oh right, yeah, I know.
All right, what else you got, Uncle Bear? You want to get the super chat?
Super chat it.
Any updates on Night of the Living Dead 90? Seems a year ago, the daughter in the film mentioned she recorded something for a new release.
I don't have any updates on that at this time. No.
Thank you for the super chat, Darth Maylock. But yeah, that's a big studio thing. So who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not privy to how that all works, but yeah, I'm sure it won't take too much longer. But but I don't know.
Right.
TJ wants to know, are Trick or Treat pre-orders limited, or can some reseller dope get 10 copies of each?
That I can't. I don't know. I don't know how that works. I don't know if there's a limitation on how many you can order or not. That'll be a Synapse question.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because we got Don May right here. No, just kidding. We don't actually have him.
No, I think Don's asleep. Don's in bed. He doesn't.
Be like,
I talked to him earlier today. He says, I'm not staying up for that shit. It's like, all right, fine.
No, I remember like the last time I think we had him on, it was on a Saturday, and I think we started an hour earlier, and that was still pretty late for him.
Yeah. He gets up early. He goes to bed early, but he's up always very early. I can call him super early in the morning. He'll have been up for a while.
Is there any word? Well, that's what I was going to put up on the Prom Night sequels getting their Blu-ray due, especially part 2.
I would love to do those, God, especially Hello, Mary Lou. I mean, that one is just such a great movie. Those are in kind of a weird limbo right now. I wish I had an answer for that, but unfortunately I don't. but I would love to do. I love to do all three of them. The fourth one I've only seen once, but I actually like the third one. It's actually kind of fun, but I really love the second one. I think most people feel that way. I think that's of the four films, Hello, Mary Lou is the best one. Mm-hmm. But I'd love to see a 4K of the original Prom Night come back out.
So, like, with all those, are they all held up with the same company, the sequels, or are they all with different companies?
Yes, but not. It's a little weird, as with anything, because these films were all made by the same producer, but he had a couple different companies during the period these movies were made, and then those rights went to here, and then those rights went to. It's just and then slowly the rights on some of these have been reverting back to who bought that company out originally, but then that company got sold to some other. I mean, it's just. You try to draw this on a whiteboard, it would look like a conspiracy theory. It would just be like, and then it goes here and here and here, and you draw a line from here to here, and you'd be like, the fuck is that? So it's a bit of a mess with the Prom Nights right now.
What about Argento's Inferno in 4K?
That's being held up primarily because of the whole Fox thing with Disney. Fox's catalog is over at Disney, and that's where you have to go through Fox to get that done. And unfortunately, that's kind of why that's not happening right now. I would love to see a 4K of that movie.
The other Trick or Treat in 4K.
Oh, well, that would be Warner Brothers. I mean, I guess Scream Factory did a release of that, so maybe they'll work with Warner Brothers and do it I don't know.
That'd be a lot better than that Amityville remake they announced the other day.
I don't know. I didn't know they did the one with Ryan Reynolds. 4K. They announced that one? Oh, I don't know.
They announced a lot of really bad shit.
Oh, I didn't.
Well, the Stepfather, that's a pretty good one. That's one that you worked on.
Yeah, I did, and I'm glad to see that one's getting a 4K release. That's cool.
I was curious though. Somebody had asked us on a stream before, and I legit don't know. So when like Scream Factory reuses features that you've already done, do you still get a commission on some of that, or how does that work? Or you just get a flat fee up front when you did it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Although lately I have made different deals with people because to be honest with you, I got kind of tired of that. And it's not anyone else's fault. I'm not laying the blame at the studios or anybody else for this. But you do get kind of tired of, you do a lot of this work for budgets that are not very big, especially with some of the boutique labels. And I understand that. It's, they're only going to do so many of these things. And then they get reused all around the world. And then they get reused for 4K editions and steelbooks. And it's like, I never see another dime. Now, that's the deal I made. So I don't really feel like I have much of a right to complain about that. And I don't. But recently, within the past couple of years, I just stopped making deals like that. It's just like, look, if you're not going to, unless you're going to pay me a nice amount of money that's worth me, selling it to you, you'll get it for this country for the term of the license that you own it or have the movie. And then I get it for worldwide or whatever. Those are usually the deals I make these days because it's like it's just not worth it anymore to do it. Which means I don't work as much with certain people, which is fine. And that's I look. It's the way the business works. Sometimes that's just the only way you can do stuff. There are studios I work with where it's work for hire and they own it in perpetuity. But these days, they pay me more money than I would normally get paid for that. Because it's at some point it does gnaw at you. I mean, especially when you look back at all the work you did and it's just like, damn, I'm kind of giving this away, and it's, especially like the long documentary pieces where I got 15, 16 people. It's like, and some of these companies don't even send me the new editions, it's just like, I don't even get the 4K upgrades of some of this stuff.
Same here. Same here.
They never send us
sons of bitches. Yeah. What's funny is like, so the stuff that we're on with the Madman 4K now, it's on 2 different 4Ks. We originally did that stuff and sent it in from the Code Red DVD.
Oh, jeez.
We never signed anything. We never got, and we didn't want to. We didn't want to get paid anything, but like nobody even says shit to us. Thankfully, like Vinegar Syndrome, when their 4K came out, they at least sent a couple of copies.
Well, that's
which
good.
was nice.
Which is all I really, at the end of the day,
No, I don't really. I would just like to be on more shit. Like as far as like some of our interviews that we've done with people that are passed away or whatever else, But
I just wanted to take a minute though, real quick, to commend Slippy because I was watching The Ripper, and the best thing on The Ripper by a mile, the best thing about owning that is the little like featurette that you did
with Tom
Savini, where it's just, I think it's Tom Savini rips the Ripper.
Tom Savini rips on the Ripper or something.
Yeah, did you film that the same day you did the interview with him for Nightmare or whatever had been a killer?
No, that was actually long before.
Oh, okay.
But no, I got to talk, and Tom at the very end of the interview, he just went, "So how do you really feel about the Ripper, Tom?" The Ripper is a huge piece of shit.
It really is, though. I've never really seen it all the way through until that release.
Look, I don't like bashing movies too much because, like, I know how hard it is to make a movie, and the guy who did it, Christopher Lewis, did a whole bunch of films, and he did the movies he wanted to do. He made them in Tulsa, Oklahoma, for very little money, and he got them distributed. God bless that man. But
yeah,
the Ripper's a hard watch. I think it's kind of hard to.
It's on Blu-ray now, so it's a little bit easier. Well, it looks.
But it was shot on video, so there's only so much you can do to it.
Yeah.
But it does look better than it's ever looked before.
It does.
But I do like the fact that they still put Tom on the front cover of it, and it's just like he's only in the last like 3 minutes of the movie. And
well, that's all they could afford.
Well, yeah, he only came in for one night. Yeah, he flew in and went to some warehouse in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and did this.
They paid him with some wine and a meat tray or something, probably.
I don't know.
He said he got paid. He said in the thing he got paid $10,000 for like whatever amount of work that was one day. Yeah.
How in the fuck? They were filming a shot-on-video movie and had $10,000 to pay him.
His name helped sell that thing worldwide.
I was getting ready to say that's all you ever see about that movie is like his face, like likeness being used to promote it somehow or another.
Yeah, but
this was on the internet quite a bit. The Keno Sleepaway Camp sequel thing, which the Twitter thing was from like 3 years ago.
Yeah, that is not. I can tell you without a doubt that is not true.
Okay.
You can take that to a bank. Call that a scoop if you like.
That's fake. Well, that's what I was thinking because, man, Keno, they'll release anything. I mean, no offense to them, but like there's not.
No, I think that those were available, they would grab them. Why not? I mean, there's an audience for those things. I did features for those too back in the day for Shout. Man, I'd like to see those come back out. But no, they do not have those. At least as of this moment right here, there's no plans for Sleepaways 2 and 3.
Okay. Bruiser. Since the last time we had you on the show, they're releasing Bruiser.
Yes, I saw the 4K. Is it Indicator? Is that who's doing it?
Yeah. Powerhouse Films Indicator.
Very, very happy to see that. Very, very happy to see
that. And I was told that there's going to be a US release as well with more special features, which is why I haven't pre-ordered it or anything yet. Have you heard anything about that?
No, I haven't heard anything.
You can never tell. Like, he knows sells the shit out of these things. You can never tell. So
maybe.
Yeah.
Could be at some point, but I don't know.
Nope. He knows nothing.
Okay. Well, you just convinced me not to pre-order it. So.
Yeah.
Then you're going to miss out because there's, but no, there's
100% a U.S. release.
Emma.
Okay.
I'm going to ask Don May about that.
Okay.
I am excited. I'm glad that that's finally getting a remaster and coming out. That's an underrated one, I think.
it's underseen. Hardly anyone's seen it, so it's
Right.
just, it's nice for it to finally come back out.
This is a great question right here, though. When are you doing the End of the Dead Pit 4K?
Probably never.
Well, if we can sell out of the DVDs that we have, that's on endofthepitthemovie.com.
What's the guy's Kelly? Is that his name?
Kelly Marcotte.
Kelly Marcotte. Doesn't he own that?
We own the rest of the copies. We own the rest of the
copies.
But
I mean the rights to license it.
I think the producer Will Zanoba technically owns it, but
what did you call me?
That's what I said. I can't repeat it because I don't want to get in trouble here on YouTube. The producer owns it. So if anybody is interested in re-releasing it once the DVDs are sold out on endofthepitthemovie.com, I'm sure they would be down for, I mean, hell, they can at least come out with it on Blu-ray. Maybe 4K. They can get the extended cut. What do you think, Uncle Bill?
I think we need a direct.
That one where you ate my ass with maple syrup.
The one where we actually see you shitting in a box and mailing it.
Oh God! You know, for all the shit we got for that, we should have actually shit in the box and mailed it.
Don't leave me out of it.
As Uncle Bill's looking through the questions, though, 424 people live on here, Felsher. I don't think that we've ever had this many people on for a live stream before with you, for sure. So, yeah, excitement in the air.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. I mean, look, I know people are frustrated. They want this thing to come out, and it's taken longer than I would have liked, and that's entirely my fault. I can't throw that at anybody else's feet but mine. You know, if you don't realize, I mean, I knew how much work goes into a DVD release, but until you're the one really captaining the ship on something like that, you don't realize how long it takes. And also when you're trying to do your day job and all your other stuff as well, it's a time suck. And also there were things I was waiting for that I was really hoping would happen for this, because I wanted to include everything I could possibly include on it. Ultimately, some of the, and that's the heartbreaking thing is, if I, like with Ozzy, if I waited another year, would it happen? I don't know, but I can't afford to. No, you can't afford to wait. At some point you have to say, and that's the hardest thing. It's always been the hardest thing with me to say, okay, that's it. That's the cutoff. Even if it happened tomorrow, I can't do it. And it's a little heartbreaking, but at the end of the day, got to get it done, So, and I'm so proud of everything that we've been able to get for this release.
Well, I mean, how many people actually worked on this release, though?
How many people?
Yeah.
In terms of like what you mean, like just in all the different production,
getting everything prepared or whatever. Like as far as Red Shirt Home Video, who is Red Shirt Home Video?
Well, that's me, but I had any number of people shooting the interviews, helping to coordinate stuff. My co-hosting partner Chris McGibbon on Spooky Picture Show helped out with a lot of stuff. Don May, obviously, and Jerry Chandler over at Synapse have been enormous help. I've got their color, they were using, the great thing about Synapse is that they're handling so much of the technical side of this thing. People I know, like, car colorist David Block, and not to mention the cast and crew of Trick or Treat, which is like 24 people at this point I've worked with. Editors, various editors had come in and helped shape this stuff. People have written liner notes, Mike Gingle, Sam Deegan, all these people, Sean Clark's putting the Horace Hallowell on there. So, I mean, it's not, technically, I guess I am Red Shirt Home Video, but it's not a one-man thing by any stretch. I mean, there's a lot of people in a lot of capacities who help out with this thing, who deserve credit. And we'll, when you read the book that comes with it, you'll see as many of those people's names, and they all deserve a big hearty thanks for making sure this thing happens.
Cool. Chris and the Critters also did a song for Slippy. Now we're going to save that one for the next time that we have you on, though. One new song per show.
How many songs are now?
You've got a lot of fans, a lot of people.
Well, I mean, that's nice, but how many goddamn songs are there?
Well, you're the muse for a lot of people, a lot of musicians, Slippy.
Oh, yeah. God, Jesus Christ.
Here's a good Oprah-like question. What's the biggest takeaway from this experience for you?
That may be one of the best questions ever asked on DEADPIT.com. The biggest takeaway from this has been, number one, I kind of wish we had not announced it so soon, because ultimately, we weren't ready to really announce it at that point. I mean, we had everything with the rights were ironed, everything was ready to go in that term, but we were too early in the production to really even give people an idea of when this thing might happen. I wish we had held off on the announcement in a way. I mean, at the end of the day, maybe it helped build up anticipation. I don't know. But I would have rather have first announced it just like in April of this year instead of April of last year or whatever it was we did. Just because, again, it was just like, I just couldn't have conceived of, oh, this is going to take more time to do this than I thought. The biggest takeaway from this is time management, figuring out a way and making sure that you have more of your ducks in a row before you start talking about something. Because people, it does get annoying for people. We've been hearing about this forever. When's this fucking thing going to come out? And I don't want people to get like that with the stuff I bring out. So, like, for example, with the second title I've got, I could announce it now, but it's not near ready to come out, and I have no idea when we're going to bring it out. And so it's just going to get into that trap again of people going, well, you talked about this 6 months ago. Where is it? So going forward, when I make announcements about titles, I'll be able to give much more concrete information on when to expect it and be further along in the. So that it was a learning curve with this. And I know that it's been frustrating for people, but it was certainly not intentional. There was no part of me that was just like, oh, let's string them along as long as we can and see what happens. That was certainly never the idea or the case here. But that's been my big takeaway. Make sure you've got enough of the project done and enough of the thing, any kind of problems ironed out before you go public. That way you can much more control when it's like, hey, this is coming out. Look for an announcement soon. And then a month later, announce the date and, be able to give, and it just gives people more confidence in what you're doing, I think, at the end of the day. So.
One of the discs in the box set is the CD soundtrack. Is it the remastered soundtrack?
It is remastered. We got these tracks directly from Sony, and we did do some cleanup on them. So they sound great. I will say that. They do sound really, really good.
I like this question too. Jack Owen says, in your opinion, what's the most bullshit thing you've had to deal with when it comes to releasing something or filming something?
God. There's been some bullshit.
I guarantee it.
I know there was one thing that you'll never talk about that it was a bad experience filming an interview or something one time, wasn't it?
Oh, there haven't been that many. Honestly, in terms of like talent, there've only been, I could count on one hand the number of truly bad experiences I've had. But the one I always go back to was one actor, and this was very early on, who showed up to the interview drunk. I mean, he was already halfway in the bag, but he was still lucid. But he had with him a full beer glass filled to the top with straight vodka.
Is this actor still alive or no?
No, he's not.
I know who it was. I'm not going to say,
but yeah. And I want to also say he was a very nice guy, and I interviewed him later for something else, and but the problem was we sat him down for the interview, and he started off okay, but every second question he would go, "Hold on a second," reach over, take a big swig from this vodka glass, and put it down. So about 20 minutes into it, the vodka's gone, and he wasn't slurring his words like you would think a typical. He wasn't like, I don't see. It wasn't any of that. This is what would happen. Ask me a question like you were if you were interviewing me about a movie, and I'll do exactly what he did.
So, what was it like working with your co-star?
What it was like working with.
Killer. So he just zoned out.
He. I mean, so he would forget what the hell. So there was these long 20-second, 30-second pauses between every other word. And so I ended up it was almost an hour with him. I might as well have not even been recording the last half hour of it because it was like, I'm never going to be able to use this. And to finish the featurette, because of the long pauses, the answers were there, but there was just these long gaps. So for the back half of the featurette, I won't say which featurette it was, but if you're watching it, you'll notice probably that I cut to a lot of photos and movie clips a lot. And you'll hear, I would take all the pauses out of what he said and make so it actually sounded coherent during the whole thing. I had to Frankenstein shit left and right. I mean, I didn't change what he said. I just got rid of 5 minutes of, but again, a really nice guy, but he had some problems. But that one was problematic. The worst my worst experience, my biggest bullshit thing I ever had to deal with was on Texas Chainsaw Massacre Next Generation. Because still, and this did not come from either Renee Zellweger or Matthew McConaughey personally, there was this fear still in place with the owners or the distributor of that movie about this movie being associated with them that dates back all the way to 96 or whatever when it first came out. And which is ridiculous. Because both of them have talked about the movie openly in interviews in the past. They don't have any. Why would they? I mean, they're both Oscar winners. They both made their nut. They're Oscar-nominated big-time actors who have done wonderful work, and both of them are really good in that movie. They have nothing to be embarrassed about. But there's people around them that don't want. Oh, we don't want that. So I was so hamstrung in terms of what I could do or say about them in any of the pieces I did. I wasn't allowed to use any clips of them whatsoever. And it made it really difficult because there's one actor who was talking about a scene in a car. He's driving and Renee Zellweger's in the back seat. And I had to show clips from the scene because it went directly to what he was talking about. So I had to go in there and black her out of the back seat. It was the most ridiculous goddamn thing. And so that was the biggest bullshit thing that I had to deal with. Everybody I interviewed was great. Kim Henkel, the cast, the special effects, they were all wonderful people. I have no complaints about any of them whatsoever. But it was just this lingering stigma about this movie. And it's just like, part of me wanted to tell these people, protecting the reputations of Matthew McConaughey and Renee Zellweger. It's like, they've both made worse movies than Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation. Have you watched The Dark Tower? The Bachelor, those last couple of Bridget Jones movies, Yeah,
pretty much any romantic comedies I've ever been in.
Yeah, so it's just like, lighten up. Lighten the fuck up at this point. But
wasn't there an issue too? Like, I've looked, I think on YouTube, there's like a documentary that was made.
Yeah, couldn't use that either because they're in it.
That's fucking crazy, man. Holy shit. They're in the movie.
Oh, no. They can't do anything about that. But the documentary wasn't going to be allowed to use as they're in it, or we would have had to cut them out completely, which would have been impossible. They had them on the artwork. They had to take them off the artwork at the last. I mean, it was just, and again, I don't think any of that came from McConaughey or Zellweger at all.
Was it maybe their agents or something, or what?
Agents, managers, public, I don't know. There's people in their circles who are just like, oh my God, still. I'm not saying I understood it or that it was right, but back in 96, I could at least see, I can understand their reasoning. I didn't agree with it, but I can understand that both of them were just breaking out at that time. He was in A Time to Kill. She was coming out with Jerry Maguire later that year. And maybe there was the fear that this movie would somehow dampen that somehow, which I still think is fucking ridiculous. But at least back then you could kind of go, all right, it sucks, but at least I can understand the thought process, even if I don't agree with it. But now, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
It's just. Yeah, come on.
Super chat from Camp Flashback is, have you heard anything from Tom Atkins about what he thinks of Trick or Treats coming to 4K?
Okay, first of all, that's not what he asked.
No, it's not all what he asked.
He said, what does Tom Matthews think of this?
Oh, Tom Matthews. Okay, I misread
Why
it.
would I ask Tom? I'm nothing against Tom Matthews. A nice guy. What does he have to do with any of this?
What about Tom Atkins? Did you talk to him about it either?
No. What does this have to do with any of this? Did the oxygen level drop in your house?
Come on! Come on, Slippy, you pussy, bring Trick or Treat out. Hurry, goddammit.
Anyway.
Blood Beach.
Blood Beach.
That's there's a rights thing still, I think, with that, and also they don't know where the elements are. So I think it's kind of a twofold problem. That's what I've heard. I don't know much about that movie.
Somebody asked this question too, and I have no idea about that. I don't think we've ever even asked you, but what do you think about the film Trick or Treat itself?
The one that I'm releasing?
Yeah.
No, I've always loved it. I saw that back when it first came out. I remember the coverage of it on Charlotte, in Charlotte, because they made it in Wilmington. So there was always a lot of coverage of the movies being made in Wilmington and Charlotte when I was living there. And I just remember, I saw it covered in Fangoria, and I was like, "Oh my god, this looks like it could be fun." And I really liked that movie. And it was I got it. I remember I got the VHS at a used bookstore for $9.99, like right after it came out. Somehow they ended up with a copy of it, and they didn't know what to do with it. And it never been played, and it was in perfect shape. So I had it for years. I don't have it anymore, unfortunately. No, I've always one of the things I've always related to about that movie was the lead character, Eddie, because I was kind of a nerd too. Wow, I was a nerd. I was into horror movies. I was, an outcast. I wasn't one of the popular kids, and I understood his anger at, why is everyone treating me like shit or kind of looking at me like I'm weird. I don't think I'm that, I just like what I like. Leave me alone, So I related to him a lot. And so that, and in addition to the music's cool and Sammy Kerr is really cool and all that, there was a little bit of an emotional connection to that movie that I've had, that I've also found that a lot of other people have had too. Mm-hmm. So that for me is kind of what really, at the end of the day, I think it's a film that's dated in some ways, and there's a couple things about it I think that would have benefited from a little bit more money thrown at it. But so what? It's a really fun movie, and it's got some really great performances in it, and it's beautifully made, I think, considering what this was. And I like the story of its making is really interesting. How they just had this idea and developed it, and Dino De Laurentiis was behind it, and they just went and made this movie. Sometimes that's not that it's ever simple, but sometimes it just kind of everything falls into place for these things.
This is an interesting one from Michael Archer. 6,666 copies. You said total, right? That's not for each.
Right. It'll be I guess 2,222 of each of the three covers.
Okay.
Give or take a one or two.
Very cool. Night Flyer. We always ask about that one.
Yeah, Richard Rubenstein owns that. So
what?
Oh God,
Bulls. I am so what the fuck is what's his motivation? He doesn't release anything here in the U.S. Nothing.
I don't know. I can't speak for Richard. I worked with Richard in the past. I've always gotten along well with Richard. I have nothing bad to say about Richard at all. But he's very particular about when his he wants his deals done his way. And a lot of studios just don't want to do that. Or, that's, there you go.
When you say his way, Sleepy, what do you mean? What does he want that they won't do?
I can't really get it. I mean, there's so many little fine points and things, and
the blood of the innocent's what he wants.
No, he doesn't want that. But no, he's a businessman. He's very particular about deal points and certain things that he wants done a certain way, and some studios are just not willing to go through. Or it's a complicated thing. I just remember at Anchor Bay, it took over a year and a half to renegotiate the relicensing of Dawn. I think it was almost 2 years, actually. And it finally happened, but it took a long fucking time. And it's just...
So Rubenstein doesn't hit the overseas releases. Does he not own the rights overseas?
No. Well, for certain territories, yes, he does. Like UK, the Second Sight licensed those from him.
Okay. For
the UK, but I think for certain European countries, no, I don't think he does, because that was part of the deal in order to, for at least for Dawn anyway. But he only controls Martin, Dawn, Nightfall, and Night Flyer. Those are the only three that he, at least domestically speaking, that he controls. The rest are with other folks.
Why do you think we haven't seen Day of the Dead 4K yet?
That's a good question. I don't know. I wish I had an answer for you on that. I would love to see a Day of the Dead 4K, especially one that Michael Gornick can come in and color time properly. Because that's been missing.
What a nice guy, too, by the way. Holy
Mike
shit.
Mike Gornick is a total sweetheart, and he's a really great dude. I love seeing him and talking to him and working with him. And so, yeah, I can't say enough good things about Mike Gornick.
Yeah, I was very impressed with him, meeting him.
You could get caught up in a conversation with him for hours.
Well, not for hours, but we did. My wife was talking to him for a while because she likes Creep Show 2 more than the original Creep Show.
Well, yeah, you're gonna have to divorce her, but that's okay.
He couldn't believe it, but he was like kind of blushing.
Well, a lot of people really like Creep Show. That movie, the reputation of that movie has come around a lot since it first came out. I like it a lot too. I don't like it as much as the first movie, but I do like it quite a bit. And I think it was a film that had a lot going against it. And I think the fact that they were able to make a movie that has held up as well as it is shows you how talented everyone involved with that was. And but no, he's great. I always look forward to seeing him whenever I have an opportunity to. And I've gotten a chance to interview and work with him like 6-7 times in the past 5 or 6 years. So it's always very welcome to do that. And I would love for him to get in there with Day of the Dead and really properly color time that thing like he did for Creep Show a few years ago. Because Day of the Dead has never been properly color timed for any of its home video releases. And so I would love to see Mike to come in there and really finally do it right. Because that's a much more complicated movie than you'd think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it really is.
Another one real quick. We did talk about this Camp Flashback, the Prom Night sequels. They're kind of held up, right?
They're just in a limbo right now, basically. It's the best I can say on that.
This is a weird one. Did you know they're doing a screening of Trick or Treat this November in the gym from the movie?
Yes, I'm actually hoping I can go to that. Because I love going down to Wilmington whenever I have the chance. I was down there to film a few interviews for Trick or Treat last year. So that would be fun to go see that in the gym where they shot the concert scene. That would be awesome. So no, I'm hoping to go down for that. That would be great. And hopefully by then we'll be able to sell the fucking Blu-rays and the UHDs to everybody. So
you'll definitely sell them there.
I can just walk in with a big old igloo of them. Just hi everybody. I got some UHDs.
When that thing comes out, you got to like walk around like that all the time, just carrying them. Come on!
I'm gonna be like the guy at the baseball stadium with the peanuts. Get your Trick or Treat UHDs to Blu-rays here.
Get a big coat and have them fastened to your coat.
Yeah,
look here.
Like, hey,
come on.
You want the A, the B, or the C? You know,
just throw them at people, have them throw them on.
There you go, motherfucker. Venmo me when you get a chance, bitch. Yeah, just give us. There you go.
Now we were talking about Pittsburgh films and stuff like that. So. And we had talked about this on a couple of shows, the Tales from the Dark Side series. Anything moving forward with maybe remastering some of those episodes or not?
I haven't heard anything definitive. There's always rumors floating around here and there. I would love nothing more than to see that happen. Especially since that show, I was just talking about that with my brother today, actually. We're talking about Tales from the Dark Side. It's such an influential show, and a lot of those episodes have really held up. They only had couple of quarters and 3 or 4 days to make those things. I mean, they were darn it, really cheap, but really talented people cut their teeth on those shows. And I would love to see, just a really remake, because the masters for that show that have been airing now it's the same tapes from 1985, from 86. There's never been a remastering of it, because you have to go back to the original film and re-edit from the original film, because they edited it on video. But that is a possibility, because I do know for a fact they have all the original film. So it's a matter of just getting in there and doing that. And I'd sign up for that work in 5 minutes. I would make that, my job for the next 5 years, just to remaster.
Which is it a big studio that owns it still?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's as with many things, it became part of a catalog, which became part of a catalog, which became part of it, and so now it's over at a major studio, which is in the process of being bought right now, actually. So
it's interesting because the support from just the Romero fan base. Like I went to that Living Dead weekend and everything. Like, just if you could get that fan base behind it somehow, where they would be like, "Holy shit!"
Well,
if we do this.
I agree, and also with Tales from the Dark Side, a lot of people know that. Like my brother, when I was he's watched a lot of episodes of that show. He's not a horror fan at all, but he's seen it on TV, and Sci-Fi airs marathons of it almost every year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still a marketable thing that they try. But the bigger the TV sets get and the higher the resolution gets, the shittier these things look. And it's just like, that's not going to fly. At some point, people are just not going to watch that.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love nothing more than to do that and Monsters and Friday the 13th, the series. There's a whole bunch of them. I mean, there was a lot. There were a lot of 80s horror sci-fi shows. That Tales from the Crypt, but that's a more complicated undertaking.
I was told that footage is no longer. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if you've heard anything.
Well, I think my guess is the problem with Tales from the Dark Side is, I believe that was edited on video as well. I think even Laserdisc. They might have used a Droid system or something with that. But the problem with that is because they actually had, comparatively speaking, pretty good budgets for that, because it was an HBO show produced by Richard Donner and Joel Silver and so forth, that there were a lot of post-production visual effects that would have to be recreated fresh to do new. Whereas with Tales from the Dark Side, they didn't have money to do optical effects 99% of the time. So that wouldn't be a big problem.
I don't think it'd be that big of an issue, though. I mean, the cost of doing that sort of thing now is like...
Oh, I would, especially to match what was done 30 years ago.
Right.
But you know what? It's cost analysis. How are they going to make their money back on an investment like that?
Anchor Bay is back. We haven't talked about that either.
Yeah,
you know those guys, though.
Yeah, a couple of the people involved with that are people that worked at Anchor Bay back in the day. I knew them. Yeah.
So have you talked to any with them since the announcement or anything?
A little bit. I talked with a couple guys, and I certainly wish them well, but I don't really know much more about what's going on with it. But anytime that it's a very valued name in the home entertainment industry as far as genre product is concerned, and it certainly has a connection to my life, big time. So I hope it succeeds. I hope it gets up and running.
Guys should have a prom. Like an Anchor Bay prom. And just, go dancing and shit.
An Anchor Bay prom.
Yeah. This question, I had forgot all about this, but there we go.
Oh. No. Again, that is the print's safe. It's secure. It's in good hands. So that part of it's good. But again, Martin, as to whether that would ever get distributed or seen, would ultimately be Richard Rubenstein's domain. So,
well, you ain't never going to see it. Hey, this is a couple of interesting ones though. Some Sam Raimi movies, A Simple Plan, 4K, which I like that movie a lot. That's one nobody talks about.
I think A Simple Plan is his best movie. My favorite movie of his is Evil Dead 2, but I think Sam Raimi's best movie is A Simple Plan.
Yeah.
It's a masterpiece. I would love to see that coming. Paramount's been doing a lot of these Paramount Presents releases with their own, they have licensed out to other studios. I'd love to see them do someone do a Simple Plan,
right?
Because it's a terrific fucking movie. It is so well done. And
the Gift as well, just for really one shot.
I know what you're talking about.
The Gift is a really good movie, aside from that one shot. But I mean,
that makes it great.
One shot. It's a hell of a shot. Come on.
Before the angry hands of Scientology got a hold of her,
Listen.
But I don't think the Gift is quite the equal of a Simple Plan, but I do like it a lot, and a great cast. I mean, an amazing cast in that. But I would love to see there be special editions of that. I don't know if Sam would participate in them. He hardly ever does. I've never met the man, so
he was at that Horror Hound show.
Didn't have a chance to see him.
Somebody
I don't think I saw him either.
Earlier too. They said, does Sam Raimi go in for stuff like doing different things with his films or features or anything? Or is he too big for?
No, it's not that. He does commentary tracks every now and then for certain films and stuff like that. I don't think he likes doing interviews very much. That's what it's just not something he's very fond of doing. Like I said, I've never met him. And how many documentaries have I done on his movies? I mean, I've produced so many, but I've never met him, So I don't.
You never, but that just jogged something in my mind too. And I don't remember if we've talked about this yet or ever before or not, but we were talking about this last week. So was it not Raimi that put the kibosh on the Within the Woods?
Oh God, yeah. Yeah, it was.
Okay.
So
did he call up and cuss you out?
No. Well, what happened with that, and I don't really blame him for this. We got a copy of Within the Woods to put on that Evil Dead release. We remastered it to whatever degree we could. We put replacement music in there to cover up the music because he had music from Patton in there and Planet of the Apes, and so we did new score for it, so it was legally okay to use. But no one ever really communicated to Sam that we were doing that. So at some point he found out, and he was just like, "Whoa, wait, hey, I never, and he just said, "No way, or from what I understand." And the disc was finished. They were about to replicate that week, 200,000 of them, by the way. And the packaging was completely done, including the cap that went on the Book of the Dead that had it listed on the back. They had printed all 200,000 of them. And I remember it was Black Monday. We came in, it was like, we have to scrap. We have to scrap all those we made. And they had to change the disc at the very last minute. They just literally they changed the one menu and ripped the file off of the master and then let it go through. You can actually, if you take the Book of the Dead DVD and go through it on your computer, you'll find a JPEG or an image of the little preamble that was going to accompany the Within the Woods. They forgot to take it off of there, but it's not.
We've done that.
Yeah.
So it was the fact that you guys edited part of it that pissed him off?
I honestly don't know what his reasons were, and I don't want to guess because I don't know. But I don't know. I don't know if he ever knew that we did that. I have no idea.
The file with the cleaned up version. Have you ever seen it?
Yes.
Do you have a copy of it?
I don't have a copy of it. I wish I did. I failed to get one before I left there. We had to take
How in the fuck did that not get out? That
surprised me because there's a couple places it could have come from, but no, it never did. It never got out there. I mean, Within the Woods has been circulating for years out there,
right?
But
it looks like shit.
Yeah, you can barely watch it.
And it was shot on 8mm, Super 8, so it was always going to look pretty rough no matter what. But ours certainly looked and sounded way better than any of the ones that have been. But I've never seen that version float around out there. Never.
It's bizarre.
We're getting ready to hit 500 people watching us live. What in the hell, man? Damn. So,
don't question it.
It's a good opportunity to tell you, if you're not subscribed, we're close, Slippy, to getting to 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. So if
That's
you're not
great.
subscribed, there's less than 100 away.
We'll do it.
Let's do it, boys. Sim Ozen, $5 super chat. Thank you, sir. Cheers for all of your hard work. Can't wait for the release. Here's hoping we can still get something going for the last minute.
That would be something that's on my list of things to look into. That's one of Stephen Norrington, who did Death Machine. That's one of his movies. And it didn't get much of a release here in the States, and it's not available currently. So I'm gonna look into that. Stephen was great to work with. I had so much fun working on Death Machine with him. I would sign up to work with him again on anything. That was a fun experience, helping him re-edit his new cut of that movie together. Hadn't ever done that before, and he was really a cool person to work with. And he had a mixed feelings about that movie for years, but when he was able to get back in there and really fine tune it the way he wanted to, it's like, oh, this movie was actually pretty good, Michael. I was like, yeah, it is. It was pretty good.
This piece of news came up, I think, in the past 2 weeks. I was curious if you knew anything about this. Will the alternate cut of Return of the Living Dead 3 that recently found be released through Lionsgate or Vestron?
Well, I don't know. It's already out. I suppose if there's ever a re-release down the road, we could include. From what I've been told, because I know one of the guys who has the tape or bought the tape. It's not a lot of big stuff that's in. It's little bits and pieces throughout the movie that collectively were added back, basically this cut was just refined down into the cut. There's not like there's huge big scenes missing from it or anything like that, but it's some stuff that might be interesting to include. I'm hearing that Leprechaun, there's another a similar, but that actually has several sequences that were taken out. That might be much more interesting to include.
And that's another Lionsgate one, right? The Lionsgate song.
Well, it's just, because it was interesting. These are all from apparently the estate of Christopher Roth, who was an editor at Trimark and edited a lot of those movies. So that's why they're all kind of limited to that one studio, and they're all pretty much over at Lionsgate, all these things. Yeah. I haven't seen the Leprechaun stuff yet, so I don't know. But I was reading a report on Facebook, and it sounds like there's some pretty significant stuff that didn't make the final cut of that movie.
Oddly enough, there's a huge fan base for Leprechaun.
There is. I was just looking at some of the stuff I did for the set, and that's actually, I did a lot of work on that set. But maybe that's a 4K possibility at some point. Release all those.
I see it.
Yeah, you could do like a seamless branching thing to watch the uncut scenes added in or something like that.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know if you would know anything about this or not, but Dylan asked anyway. Are the Brain Dead and Bad Taste 4Ks actually coming out?
The only person who can answer that question is Peter Jackson.
That's what I tell people when they ask that question to us. I'm like,
nothing would make me happier than a Bad Taste and Meet the Feebles 4K edition. My only fear is that I don't want him to use that technology he used on that Beatles documentary.
Oh God!
Where they it made everyone look like wax figures. It was I couldn't finish it. I couldn't watch it. It was just like everyone looked like mannequins and wax paper dummies or something. It was weird. And I hope he doesn't do that with those movies. But that's not my problem. It's his. They're his films to do with as he sees fit. So.
Yeah, he just sitting on them evidently. Return of the Living Dead 3 is that no. Return of the Living Dead 2 is...
Oh, I like Return of the Living Dead 3 more than I do Part 2.
I don't.
Thank you. Yeah,
Part 2 I don't. I'm not crazy.
I like Part 2 quite a bit.
He likes that Michael Jackson zombie.
This that screwdriver out of my
hand. Yeah.
Oh God!
I like Suzanne Snyder quite a bit too, man. I had a thing for her back in the day.
She's very adorable. That and Killer Clowns,
Yeah, Killer Clowns. Let's see here. Jennifer Aniston's OG nose. I actually think that she looked better with the original nose. I don't know.
She was always cute, so who cares?
That's true.
When it's like, oh no, with the old nose, get away from me, Jennifer Aniston. Bullshit, come on.
The Keep. People have asked about the Keep. Michael Mann owns that, right?
He doesn't own it, but Paramount's not going to do anything with that unless he's involved, and he just wants to go back in and basically recut the movie from scratch and do new effects and everything for it. And they're just like, that's too much money. And again, it's a cost analysis thing. I mean, how many people are going to, at the end of the day?
So the original cut of it, would he have to sign off on it for them to do it? You'd think they would have already done it.
Yeah, I think. They would have. Yeah, of course they would have already done it. Yeah.
Okay.
Because why not?
Have you seen? This is another question too. We haven't ever asked you about either. So the new releases of the Jim Cameron films that everybody's bitching about, or were bitching about, and now are like kind of less bitching about, the Aliens and the True Lies.
True Lies,
yeah. Have you seen those? Any of those releases?
I saw the Aliens one, and I thought it looked great.
Me too.
Same.
The Abyss I have not seen. I haven't seen True Lies either. But I thought Aliens looked terrific.
I think True Lies was the one that was
that one seemed to get the most attention, and based on a couple of. But here's the problem with certain screen grabs. It's going to look. I think I don't know. I would have to judge it from my own, just watching it on a 4K screen. But I mean, I'm always wary whenever they go in and degrain shit and. Again, it kind of goes back to what I was talking about, the Peter Jackson stuff. It's like when you take away the texture of the movie, you're robbing it of, of detail that you may not think is there, but it actually is. And you can put the grain back on, but it doesn't mean that it's just, everyone turns into wax figures. And there did seem to be some of that on some of the stuff I saw with True Lies, but I haven't seen the disc, so I can't comment. But Aliens, I thought looked great. I just,
Well, everybody's curious about Home Sweet Home, man.
Why is everybody curious about that movie?
Blu-ray release, clean it up real nice and everything. And Jake Steinfeld, his performance was undeniable.
Yeah, I don't have any information on Home Sweet Home. I don't know about that one, man.
What about Terror on Tour? That's another one that people bring up
in
these streams from time to time.
No, nobody gives a shit about Terror on
Tour.
Tour.
There was that period there from like 85 through 89 where heavy metal and horror just, not only was the heavy metal music in the movie, but it figured into the fucking plot. It was like heavy metal rockers against evil, or heavy metal rockers that are evil, or heavy metal rockers versus zombies, or heavy metal rockers versus, even the Gate used backmasking and, heavy metal. So it's just, but then none of these movies made any money. I think the Gate was by far the most successful out of all those movies. And even that, I don't really include that much because they use it in the beginning of the film, but then it never really comes up again after that. But Trick or Treat, that's one of them too, so it's just, but it was all that anti-rock and roll crap that was going on back then, and the Senate hearings and everything. It's hilarious. Go on YouTube and you can watch Dee Snider testifying in the Senate, looking all just like Dee Snider, but giving a very impassioned, very thorough, and very eloquent defense of his music and what it means and why people like it and why it's not evil and all that. But he still looks like fucking Dee Snider from Tristan's sister. So it's like, that would have been like if Kiss had shown up in there to do that in full makeup. It would have been like, what? Okay.
That'd have been killer. Hello, Congress. How's everybody doing?
506 people, boys. What in the hell? So all you guys are going to get the limited edition Trick or Treat side exclusive, convention exclusive edition. So there you go.
Somebody brought up an idea. I don't know if this is even a thought, that the limited edition or special editions have guitar picks.
We looked into that. It's a cost thing with that. It's just a little bit for what you get at the end of the day. It's like it's not quite worth, putting extra money and time. But I'm not saying that'll never happen. But I'm not feeling it with that right now so much.
Very cool. Nightlife from 1989.
I would love to see that one come up, but the studio that owns it doesn't know where the elements are.
Well, speaking of that one, then what about Night School from 81? They only had one Warner Archive release, I think.
Yeah, I don't know what Warner's doing with that or why they haven't brought that back out. I don't know about Night School. Right, but I know on Nightlife, it's a matter of they don't know where the elements are, which is ridiculous because they've owned this movie since day one pretty much. So it's like, what did you do with the shit?
Now, you may not know about this at all, but when we were at Horror Hound, we ran into Steven from the Unearthed Films.
Stephen Biro?
Yeah. And I got to talking with him about the guinea pig movies.
Oh, yeah.
And they're the only ones that officially released them ever here in the U.S. on DVD. And he gave me the impression that there's no way that those could ever be re-released. Have you ever heard anything about that?
I know absolutely nothing about the guinea pig movies at all.
Okay.
I know of them, but I don't know anything about the ownership or any issues with releasing those.
That would be stuff like that would be very sought after right now.
I'm sure. I mean, look, I'm sure if he could release those, he would.
Yeah.
You know, because there's always going to be an audience for stuff like that.
Because you've got like a whole new younger audience that really don't even know about that sort of thing.
Oh yeah.
That are into the Asian horror stuff anyway. So
yeah, but no, I don't. Unfortunately, I don't know anything about what the status is with those at all.
Midnight Hour.
Oh God, that's Disney.
You guys are big fans of that, though. I mean, Disney.
I would love to see the Midnight Hour come back out. We had it out at Anchor Bay for a while, and no one bought it until they realized it was out of print, and everybody wanted the fucking thing. I think that's another Monster Squad. You know, another one that everyone would want to buy. But it's Disney. That's all I can say.
And they don't cut deals.
Not right now. They're not.
Sons of bitches.
No, right now they're not.
I hate Disney.
So, we were talking about that if we hit over 500, that Felsher would talk about like at least 3 of the movies that he's working on currently. So go ahead.
No.
514, man. 514.
Kiss my ass. And go fuck yourselves.
Shit.
Well, hell.
Shit.
I'm not. I don't come on the show to be difficult, but I don't. You know, I have to be very careful with what I say about certain things because, again,
what's your own label at this point, though? You can say whatever you want to.
Yeah, and look how well I've done so far.
I mean, he's got a point.
You know, I announced this thing. I announced this thing a fucking year ago, thinking, oh, we'll have it out in about a week or so, and it was like,
it was over a year ago,
shit,
actually.
I gotta do work. This isn't ready yet. What the fuck is wrong with me?
We bring it up every time. Light of Day, Michael J. Fox, Joan
It never is.
I don't know what's up with that movie because I thought it was over this one catalog, but apparently it's not now or something. I don't know. And I don't know if it's a music thing. I don't think it is.
You think Joan Jett was just so embarrassed by it, she bought it and just put it up?
Well, first of all, she has nothing to be embarrassed about. She's terrific in that movie. That movie's actually pretty good. It's a Paul Schrader film, and it's Michael J. Fox is good in it, and she's terrific in it. Joan Jett's really good in that movie. So, no, she didn't buy it up or anything like that.
It's just weird because like that hasn't been on anything at all.
No, it was on
VHS.
It's never even been on DVD.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the fuck's up with that one. That's strange. You're right. It's very strange.
All right. That brings up a good point. We were talking about this the other day too. What are some of your films that have never been on DVD or have never been on any kind of format maybe that you would want to see?
Well, Nightlife is one. Lunatics: A Love Story. That's another one I'd love to see come back out. Fright Night 2. Would love to see Fright Night 2 get restored properly and come back out, but God only knows. Prom Night 2. That's another one I would love to see.
What about New Moon Rising?
Let me tell you something about New Moon Rising. Howling New Moon Rising. I would give anything to restore that movie and bring it out in fucking because that movie is so fascinating to me. It's one of those movies where it's like I don't agree with a single creative choice made in this movie. It is so baffling to me and so wonderfully weird and bizarre. And it's just like I can't explain this movie. But that's another one. They shot it on, I think, 16 millimeter, and it was edited on video. And that was not owned by any studio. It got kind of kicked around. So God only knows where the film elements for that thing are, you know, so that we would have to, because the existing video masters for it are awful. So I would love to do a restoration of Howling New Moon Rising. And I think that's when I could actually get Joe Bob Briggs to do something for, because he's commented on that movie several times. And I think he's just as fascinated by it as I am.
Well, he did a commentary for that fucking I Spit on Your Grave sequel. So
yeah, that was yeah. So I think he would, but for this one, he would, because again, you just want to be like, how did this happen? How did this fucking movie happen? And it's very hard to explain. And it's inexplicable. And the only guy who could really answer that is just disappeared off the face of the fucking earth. Who was the writer, director, star, editor, producer of that thing.
Did you hear anything about this? Lucifer Valentine threatening Stephen Barrow.
No,
and his
I'm
family.
Not familiar with that at all.
I need to get that dude on the show. Well, not Lucifer Valentine, but
no, I would think Steve Barrow. No, I didn't know anything about that. No,
Santa's sleigh.
That would be so killer if that was it.
No, that's not. That has no. Although, why not? But no, I have not heard any.
One thing though that'd be interesting to ask is like everything is on 4K now. What do you think of the 4K format? Is that something?
Love it. It's great. It's great.
Do you think everything needs a 4K though?
No, but I don't think everything needed a VHS release either. There's some movies where it's like nothing's going to help this. Bury it. But no, look, I bring it all out on 4K. Preserve it all. I'm all for it. I don't, once Tammy and the T-Rex went to 4K, I realized, oh, okay, anything can. Great. The floodgates have now opened. There's no excuse anymore. Okay, they're not going to do a 4K of that. They did a 4K of Tammy and the T-Rex. They can do a 4K of this.
I think, and I don't know how the remastering process is or anything. And I know that there's a bunch of fuckers on here from Blu-ray.com and they'll probably make fun of me, but whatever. Some 4Ks, like Severin did Cemetery Man, the 4K of Cemetery Man. And it's like, at the second that it starts, you're like, what in the fuck? So, like, sometimes they're done right and sometimes they're just kind of thrown out.
Well, and also, it depends on the film itself. If it's a film with very vibrant colors and lush cinematography, or it's a film that has traditionally
Demons was another one that looked great like that.
I mean, Suspiria. Go look at the 4K of Suspiria sometime. It'll just melt your fucking brain. But Cemetery Man had never looked good on any of its home video incarnations before, because they were dealing with old dated masters and there was a rights issue that kept them from accessing anything really good to work with. So Severin got access to the negative for that. And again, it's a beautifully shot movie. I mean, it's just such a vibrant film that you're going to notice a difference with that. Other films, not so much. But then you could also say that the upgrade to Blu-ray probably didn't make as much of an impression with certain films as it did with others. So, but look, I'm all about 4K. Bring on 8K. Bring on all the Ks. Bring on special K. Bring it all on. I don't give a shit. Throw all the Ks in there.
There's 8K TVs. Are we ever going to get an 8K disc at some point, you think?
Who knows? Who knows? I don't think the first one will be Tammy and the T-Rex. But it could be something.
You never know.
Yeah, you never. Again, I would never have predicted. But no, I say, well, okay, fine. I didn't want to talk to Uncle Bill anymore anyway.
Tin can internet issues with Uncle Bill.
Oh.
The
hamster and the wheel stuff.
I'll tell you another one that impressed me, and I'm a little bit biased here, but the Madman 4K that Vinegar Syndrome did.
Oh, that looked great too, because there's a lot of deep colors and blacks in that. I mean, it looked good.
The grain in that too, like a lot of people don't like grain, but there he is. It's actually like watching a lot of those 4Ks. It's like watching a 35 millimeter film on your TV.
Yeah, certain films just lend itself, depending on how they were shot and what the colors were like and so forth, lend itself to being more impressive in 4K than others. Absolutely. But that's, depends on the movie. Like Inferno. I would love to see what Inferno looks like.
Oh, yeah.
See, that's what I was saying. The opening sequence of that film, the underwater stuff, would be amazing.
Oh, and the colors in that, and like when she dives into the puddle and goes underwater and all that shit. I mean, it just, I mean, it's there's certain films that I would just like opera. I can't wait to see opera on 4K. I cannot wait. That's my favorite Argento movie. So I'm looking forward to, and they're going to fix the mistakes made from some of the previous editions. They had a little featurette where they over transferred the frame. And we're getting information from the soundtrack section of it that that shouldn't have been in there. So they're actually properly framing it and making sure that mistake won't be made. But I love that movie where it's just, and again, that was back when Argento was like, all right, let's do the crow's point of view as it flies around the fucking opera house.
That's right.
It was like, hey, let's do a shot where the bullet comes through the goddamn door and the peephole goes through her head, flies across the room, and blows up the phone that the one girl's trying to use. It's just like, oh, man. And Opera was his last great movie. That was like his last classic film. Everything else after that, there's been a significant drop-off for me. There's been some good stuff in there, but Opera was like the last... Like
it was like 87 or
87.
Well, I mean, there's Dracula 3D. I don't think anybody could argue that.
Uncle Bill's a big fan of that one.
Oh, we could argue a lot on that Dracula 3D.
Sleepless is pretty good.
Sleepless put me to sleep. I did not like Sleepless.
You didn't like that?
The Card Players I actually like. That's my favorite, probably of his more modern stuff. But yeah, I'm not. I don't know.
What's sad though is once somebody does Inferno, when it comes to that classic Argento stuff, it's all been done.
Yeah, Bird with the Crystal Plumage, Deep Red, Four Flies on Grey Velvet. Hell, even 5 Days of Milan is out. Phenomena, Tenebrae. Yeah. No.
Suspiria.
Oh, God, yeah. No need to do Suspiria ever again.
Stenhall Syndrome, somebody would probably do that.
I'm not a big Stenhall guy. That's the drop. That's when the drop-off started with me, was Stenhall Syndrome. I didn't like that one very much.
Final Terror in 4K didn't.
Shout had that out, so I guess it would be up to them.
No, I'm thinking of Final Exam. Final Exam is in 4K.
It is in 4K.
It is,
Dark Horse Entertainment.
Yes, it is.
Have you ever talked to Demon Dave from Dark Force? Have you ever met up with him or anything?
DeFalco?
Yeah.
I saw him once at a convention briefly. I didn't actually meet him. It was him and Sage. This was back when Sage Stallone was still around. It was him and Sage Stallone. So I think they were promoting that movie they did. Can't remember the name of it now. But I never have actually met Dave DeFalco, no.
He's an interesting guy.
Yeah. Aren't we all?
Hey, I've been trying to get that dude on the show, but I don't know. He's a weird dude.
Well, I don't think you can really criticize someone for not wanting to come on this show.
Why?
That's exactly what I was thinking when he said it. I was like,
it's like maybe he's the smart one out of all of us here because he's seen what I go through and go.
Chaos was the movie that he did. Yeah.
Oh, right, Chaos, right.
The Last House on Left, loose remake, I think.
Yeah, I never saw it, so I don't know what I heard.
There was some of those guys like Nick Palumbo. What the hell happened to him?
Murder Set Pieces. Yeah, I don't know. They just
that movie has not been re-released either. That movie would have an audience now.
Lionsgate had it out at one point. I don't know if they still own the rights to it. I don't think they do. But I don't know. I don't know for sure. But that's yeah.
Campfire Tales from the 90s. That seems like something.
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of the same ones we talk about on every show, but I mean, it's inevitable, I guess. Dark Glasses. They're asking if you've seen the Argento.
I have not seen that yet. No, I haven't seen it yet.
There ain't no sense in watching it. I'll just tell you right now.
That should be the quote on the box. Ain't no sense in watching it. DEADPIT.com.
Yeah. That's my review. Also, Giallo, the movie Giallo.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, that's like they took up all those, didn't they, for legal purposes or something? Didn't they stop selling those?
I don't know.
Vestron Cube trilogy set.
We talked about that at one point, and ultimately, we didn't feel it fit or something. I don't know. Those will probably come back out, but I doubt they'll be Vestron ones. I don't think so. That'd be my guess.
Dirk has a couple: The House with Laughing Windows and Grim Prairie Tales, which that doesn't even have a DVD, does it?
I think Grim Prairie Tales did get released by somebody briefly. Fox Lorber maybe had it out, or somebody, or maybe I'm thinking of the tape, because the tape was Academy originally, as I remember. Yeah, I don't know if that's come back.
Somebody would.
Grim Prairie Tales would be great. It's Brad Dourif and James Earl Jones. That alone is a reason to do it. That's a good little anthology. I like that movie. Watchers with Corey Haim. That's another one. It's just kind of in the perpetual limbo The sequels are all pretty much identical.
Fright Night 2, which we haven't seen that too much tonight for some reason. Didn't they announce that was coming out again?
That one company keeps announcing it's coming out. It never comes out.
Yeah. Well,
and another personal favorite of mine is Penn, the Canadian.
I love Penn. Penn was a personal favorite of mine at Anchor Bay that we got to do.
We need to get that. That needs to be a red shirt release. You need to try to make that happen.
I would love to do Penn. I think Penn is great. That's a creepy ass little movie.
It's a crazy movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's one too. Like,
and do you know who the voice of Penn is?
No.
It's Jonathan Banks from Breaking Bad and Beverly Hills Cop.
What?
Oh, really?
Yeah. The guy who played Mike, the cleaner. Yeah. Mike Ehrmantraut. That Jonathan Banks was the voice of Penn. Yeah. You would never guess that in a million years.
No.
But no, that's him. That's Jonathan Banks.
We're trying to figure this out too. Maybe you know something about this. What is Sandpiper Pictures?
We asked him last time.
No, I've seen. I don't know. I don't know anybody over there or what they're.
Somebody's got to figure this out.
They're releasing some MGM stuff. No, I don't know. I don't know anything about them. I wish I could tell you. I don't. So, yeah.
Bunch of other titles on there.
2001 Mania.
Mm-hmm.
Hider in the House. I like Hider in the House. Anything with Gary Busey acting all Gary Busey like, I'm all for.
Gleaming the Cube, man, that would be a good one.
That one's not over there anymore. That one's not at Lionsgate anymore, so we couldn't do that one. But I would do that just because it's called Gleaming the Cube, and I just love that movie. Came out and was like, well, it's a skater term. And then a lot of skaters came out and said, "Don't use that fucking term." Ready?
Yeah, I've never heard that. No. Just describing the movie.
Even skaters went, "We don't know the fuck that means."
But Tony Hawk, a young Tony Hawk was in it.
Oh yeah,
You could really promote it well with that. I mean, it's kind of surprising that.
Yeah, that one kind of came and went. But again, it was called Gleaming the Cube. No one knew what the hell that meant.
Dude, like I've heard people say this, but I've never heard any. And I'm like, where did you hear this? And they're like, well, this other guy from Blu-ray.com told me about it or whatever. Like, I don't think.
I would love to do Shadow of the Vampire with Willem Dafoe and John Malkovich. That's really great. That movie is a terrific.
That'd be good timing with that Nosferatu movie.
Yeah, with the Nosferatu coming out, which Dafoe is also in, I think. Yeah, because it's Robert Egger. He worked with him a bunch of times.
Summer Camp Nightmare. There's no that's
another one that's in another kind of limbo as well. That's and I like that movie, even though that title's a terrible fucking title for that movie because it has nothing. It makes it sound like a Friday the 13th film, and it's not. Let's see, Paper House is another one that would be really cool to bring up. Freaked, I would love. Nothing would make me happier than to see a 4K special edition of Freaked, but that's Fox. So,
Demon Warp. What is Demon Warp? I don't even know what that is.
I think Demon Warp's a Bigfoot movie, if I remember, with George Kennedy. I think.
We gotta have that. Somebody gotta put that out.
Yeah, I think that one's out. Yeah, I think that's
Return to Horror High. That would be a good one.
It's a New World title. It's over with whoever owns those titles. I did some stuff. I did some stuff for that movie, for the '88 films release, and I own the rights to it for the U.S. So if anyone does it, look me up. I got some stuff.
I'll let your boy. Richard Rubenstein doesn't own that one, so it might come out here.
No, he doesn't. No.
Jim Cotta from 1985.
Jim Cotta.
Jesus Christ, we're talking about Jim Cotta?
All right, I think we've reached.
I think we might. Yeah, I think.
Rumpelstiltskin, boys. Rumpelstiltskin.
Fucking Rumpelstiltskin.
I don't know why that hasn't come out because I know the studio that owns it and it's been available this whole time. I don't know. I cannot tell you why, because that would be a logical one to bring out. From the director of Leprechaun, and that movie has a real devoted following. I would love to see someone bringing that out. Absolutely.
I was wrong. We haven't reached it yet because here it is. I dismember Mama. When's that come out?
And Lunch Meat.
Yeah, I don't know about Lunch Meat. Yeah,
Blood Frenzy. The Meat Eater. What
I
the
don't know. I remember the Meat Eater. I had the VHS of that. It's a fork with blood dripping down it. I remember the Meat Eater VHS. I remember that one.
Meatballs 3, man. Meatballs 3. That one. That's the only Meatballs movie that's never been on DVD or anything.
Was Meatballs 2 available?
I think so. I think they did like a Warner archive or something like that of that.
I thought Sony had that one, but
Maybe
I can't
not.
remember.
But there ain't no way that they did a Warner archive.
No, for Meatballs Part. No, it's not. It's Meatballs Part 2.
Meatballs 2.
Yeah, it's not
Maybe
just Meatballs 2.
Meatballs 4 came out with Corey Feldman, and that movie's awful.
And even Corey Feldman's like, this movie sucks.
Blood Salvage. Yeah, that one never did come out either.
That one, I would love to see that one come out too. I remember that one because the guy who starred in that starred in a series of pickle commercials back in the 80s. And he was always on TV, and all of a sudden he played the redneck killer in that. I just remember it's just like, why? Because it's like, why do you do all this with your pickles? Why? Because we got nothing else to do. That was the pickle commercial.
True.
I don't know if it was Clausen or Vlasic. I don't remember who it was, but he was the spokesman for that. And then I saw him in Blood Salvage. I went, oh, holy shit! Yeah.
Black Christmas Remake 06. That's a good one that never.
You know what? That one has been kind of unjustly maligned over the years. That one's not bad, and there's a couple different versions of that I think would be worth having out. And actually, I think Lionsgate has that now. Because a lot of the latter era Weinstein titles ended up back over
that just there. Looks like one that Screen Factory should have done like a few years ago, but they didn't.
Yeah.
How many releases are we getting from Vestron in 2025?
Hopefully more than we got in 2024.
Which was none. Yeah. So, yeah. Well,
do you see anything coming out in 2024 as far as new stuff from them or no?
Maybe. It may be a little bit too late, but maybe there might still be something. Yeah. But I don't want to, again, it's just a matter of getting some of these other ones that we have in the pipeline wrapped up.
D. Snyder Strangeland, there is legal problems with that, right?
No. I can honestly say that, funny, if you'd asked me this question yesterday, I don't think I would have had an answer for you. There is a path to releasing for that, finally. I don't want to say through who or how, but the clouds have parted on that one a little bit.
Oh, Lord.
All right. So that's kind of the scoop. Kind of.
I guess. I mean, it's not. I'm not working on it, but I can say that there's a brighter future for that today than there was yesterday.
Backdoor Sluts 9.
Well, the problem is we can't find the elements for it. We have the negatives for 1 through 7, but Part 8 was sort of this weird combination of a prequel. Then they used a lot of clips from the other ones, and so we're having issues with that. But the problem is we don't want to release 1 through 9 if we can't also do 10 through 13.
Right.
And
no you got to do restoration from the original 35 millimeter.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they shot 6, and it was 6 and 11 were shot on 16 millimeter, and then all the rest were shot in HD. So we don't have to worry about the HD ones too much. And then there's the whole thing about Part 3 and all the missing footage and the missing egg beater scene that everyone always talks about. So that's a whole big thing. But that's a massive undertaking. That's going to cost hundreds of thousands of dollars.
That'll be a 3 or 4 year project, probably.
Yeah, at least. And I don't know if I have the time to devote to that, but maybe somebody else will.
So yeah, we've gone through a lot tonight, and we appreciate you taking the time out. We still have 521 people watching this live.
Well, I appreciate you guys coming in and watching me talk about whatever the fuck it is I've talked about for the last 2 hours. I don't even remember.
Went through a lot of stuff for sure, as we always. Hopefully, maybe we can have. Here's my idea. A release party online, like a bunch of true nerds.
That I would absolutely do. Absolutely.
That's actually a good idea.
And I can tell you, next time that you have me on, I will have either already. You'll be able to pre-order Trick or Treat by the next time that you guys have me on. So, but don't say I'm coming on next week.
Tomorrow.
It's tomorrow. Yeah. Right.
Random live stream. No, but yeah, we appreciate you taking the time out and everything. It's been on here. We try to keep these at 2 hours. But yeah,
it's fine. I don't care how long they go on for. Really, it's fine.
Let's stay on here for at least another hour and a half or so.
Yeah. No, I ain't doing backdoor sluts 55.
King Frat announcements coming soon.
Yeah, what is the obsession with King Frat? That one has just become your new Elm Street.
Well, here's the thing about King Frat. I think that you would agree with this too, CK.
What's up?
It's a movie based entirely around a farting contest.
Yes, that's our speed.
All it really needs to be.
It is the best movie based solely around a farting contest.
Yep.
Yes, I must say. And it's from the director of Shockwaves and Return of the Living Dead 2. And,
Yeah, didn't somebody ask him about that and he had no idea or whatever? He wasn't saying nothing.
No,
one or the other.
I don't think he does. Because I've asked him too, and he doesn't know.
Yeah, there's all kinds of cool gimmick stuff they could do with the King Frat release at some point, but it's probably not coming. But,
yeah.
You got anything else on here that we haven't talked about you want to mention? Any other project releases that's coming out soon?
Let me look.
Sure. King Ralph's on Blu-ray, pal. I've got it.
Oh yeah. They did. I will say this: that Vinegar Syndrome ported over all my extras for Invasion USA for their 4K. So I did a commentary with the director and interviews with Tom Savini and Greg Nicotero and Howard Berger and James Bruner, the screenwriter. So that they brought all that stuff over, which I was very grateful for. I just helped finish up with the director of the movie A Better Place, Vincent Pereira. I helped him put his new cut of that together, which will be coming back out soon. Let's see here. What else is there? Still working on the Ilsas, obviously Trick or Treat. On Greenbox, I think might be actually tomorrow or sometime in the next week or so. Screenbox will be showing a remastered edition of my documentary about the making of Survival of the Dead called Walking After Midnight. That will be viewable on Screenbox.
So does that mean that there may be a updated version of that coming out?
I have no idea. That I don't know. The documentary I own, so I can do what I want with it.
So you just remastered it yourself?
Yeah, I've never. When I was looking through it not long ago, and I realized it was such a rush to get the thing out. I never color timed it or did a proper sound mix on it. And so when I was watching, I was like, oh my God, this doesn't look right at all. And so I went back in and re-color timed everything. I actually color timed for the first time everything. And remixed the sound, and so it looks better and sounds better than it ever has. And it will be online. And eventually it's going to get its own Blu-ray release because there's a lot of deleted footage and stuff that no one's ever seen before.
This is an interesting one that you don't get asked very much. Do you make time to actually watch any new horror movies or maybe releases that you're not a part of or anything?
Sometimes, but not as much as you think. I've watched probably less horror movies in the past 10 years than at any other point because I'm busy. I work so much. And sometimes the last thing I actually want to do is sit down and watch a fucking horror movie. And then I don't watch a lot of other people's work, not because I don't want to, but because I don't have the time. But there are exceptions to that, like Cemetery Man and I'll certainly be making an exception for Opera and for The Hitcher. I love The Hitcher too.
Oh man, me too.
Yeah. Big fan of that. And I'm so glad they got the negative access to the negative for that because that's a beautiful looking movie. And
it really is.
Yeah, can't wait to see that.
I think that what's going to happen with that is a whole new audience is going to find that movie.
I think so because it hasn't really been commercially available since the HBO DVD back whenever the hell that was. And it's I did a commentary with the director of that movie for another film he did called Highwayman, and he's Robert Harmon, great guy. And I was talking to him about The Hitcher, and he was involved with the new release, and so it's going to look exactly like it's supposed to. And the sound mix on that movie is really strong too. So I can't wait to see.
That is big news too. Yeah, the Hitcher remake 4K is coming from Scream Factory to coincide with the.
Is that true?
Probably.
It probably is going to be true. Yeah.
I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true, but not that I would care.
Was that the one with Sean
Bean?
Same Bean.
God.
Yeah. Yeah, that was during that period where they just remade everything. They had
Yep.
Stepfather, Prom Night, Hitch.
Well, the bad thing though about the original Hitchers, people may not realize that Snapper DVD was over is 25 years old.
Yeah, that was an early release too. I mean, that one, and it's been gone for a long time. They've had some overseas releases which look pretty good, but nothing close to a new restoration. So. Yeah, I can't wait for this.
Second Sight, you know that they're going to do it.
It's going to look good. It's going to look really good.
But we appreciate Slippy joining us on here. Always a fun time. I don't think we've ever had a crowd like this before.
Yeah, I can't account for that because it can't be. There must be. Are you doing some sort of a cash giveaway or something? Because it's like
you would think. Well, it's like Walmart on the first of the month here in Eastern Kentucky. I don't know. But yeah, 500, we got up to like 500 and close to 530 people.
What show was it we were at when we went around all the Walmarts looking for that 8-pack of Lionsgate titles that had
we were
Blood
just
Diner.
talking about that with
we're dumpster diving looking, where's my Blood Diner? God damn.
That was the one to find, if you remember. Like
it's one of those horror hound shows, I think.
Yeah, there were like 4 or 5 of them. We did come across a couple of the ones we didn't give a shit about. They had like the Bloody Murders or something like that.
Yeah.
But it was like, no, where's the Blood Diner? God damn it, this is bullshit.
What we were saying was
had waxwork too. That was the other one. Like that was the one that everybody was trying to find.
The Blood Diner one is interesting because you had done some extras for a DVD that never came out.
Yeah.
And you were like, was my shit on there or whatever?
No.
You didn't
know. I knew that it wasn't there because I
okay.
never even finished any of it. So it was just like, although a lot of it ended up showing up on the eventual Blu-ray. But it was just remember we're dumpster diving the fucking Walmart. Like, what is this shit?
I wonder if that's what's going to happen with these steel books that Walmart's doing now. If like people will be running around trying to find those.
They might be.
Like we were back in the day.
They just did a Diary of the Dead. A steel book that's got my some of the stuff I did on it back in 15 years ago. There's so much stuff from Diary that I haven't. That's another one I want to do my own release of.
That was a repackage, though, right? That was the same disc.
It's the same disc. Yeah, there hasn't been anything different done with that.
All right. Well, it's always fun getting you on here. We appreciate everybody in the chat and everything. We will be back tomorrow night. We're going to cover that Severin sale. So that'll be interesting. Go over all the bundles and everything. It's a multi-stream with Planet CHH and Born to Be Rad. And we're doing a series too, Slippy, on 80s slasher movies throughout the whole summer. Do you have a favorite, lesser known 80s slasher movie that you would like us to look at or something at some point? We're doing random ones. So there's.
Are you going to cover Intruder? That's my favorite slasher of all time.
It's actually up there with mine too. I can't remember if we ever reviewed it or not, though.
Well, that's part of the gimmick too. It has to, I don't think so. Maybe. I don't know. Synapse did the Blu-ray.
And I'm hearing rumors there's a 4K coming.
Shit. I will definitely buy that.
He's going to buy that day one.
Mm-hmm. I hear rumors. I don't know.
Heard a thing or two about a thing or two. But
I heard some shit.
But it's always fun. We'll have to do this again. We may have some other stuff coming up later in the fall. I know we talked to you about a history of show, but we'll announce that at a later date.
Oh, yeah.
That'll be
We're going to have the big trick-or-treat giveaway where Slippy gives us all of the variations of trick-or-treat when it comes out.
Who are you talking at?
Yeah, we're going to have a raffle, so we're going to give away copies here in the chat.
No, we're not.
He's going to make sure that we get our own copies, one of each.
Yep.
No, I don't remember that. No.
That's happening.
Yeah.
Right around 1st October, I think.
Woo.
Release is canceled.
All right, but looking forward to doing this again, guys, and definitely like and subscribe and all that, and help us get to 10,000 by the time Felsher comes back on here in a few weeks when we're going to have that release party.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I can do that.
See you guys next time. DEADPIT.com. Give us the thumbs up.
Up your butt.
Like, subscribe. And if you subscribe, here's something else you can do. Once you subscribe, you can click the bell notification, right? And it'll notify you anytime that Dead Pit puts up new shit.
Or don't. I really don't give a fuck.
I want you to. Let's keep our community growing here on YouTube.
I don't like it. I don't want you to do nothing.
Listen, they need to do that.
No, don't you dare touch it.
Thumbs up. Subscribe. Click that bell.
There's all kinds of wonderful shirts over at shop.deadpit.com. Simply the best horror shirts. On TeePublic, there are others, but they all suck. You can get some Dead Pit Radio shirts. You can get Last Out on the Left. The Hills Have Eyes. Texas Chainsaw. Oh, wait, you can't say Texas Chainsaw. All kinds of shirts, folks. You're gonna love them. Shop.deadpit.com.
Thank you to all of our supporters on Patreon. DeadPit on Patreon.com is the only place to check out a complete archive of the old Dead Pit radio shows all the way back from 2005 on, in addition to the midweek shows, fan commentaries, exclusive podcasts, and much more. Dead Pit on Patreon.com if you're interested. Tiers start at only $1.